Yeah. We're going to keep the correct time because that.
To all members of both associations, MTOA and TAC, for today's important topic, international perspective. As always, I request you all to keep your device on mute and ask questions only during the question answer session. Now, I request our convener of webinar series, Mr. Abhijit Patil, to take over and give ethos and disclaimer of today's session. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Namaste, everybody. So, while we've had some very good webinar sessions which have been very focused and to the point for the benefit of our esteemed panelists who have joined us, I'll just be reiterating that. The first one, we at Maharashtra Tour Organizers Association and the Travel Agents Association of Gujarat are jointly co-hosting these webinars under a title United We Stand, and focusing on the very important and relevant aspects for the tour operators especially and the travel agents in Maharashtra and Gujarat as post-COVID road seems very uncertain. We had the first one which was very much focused on the legal aspects, and thereafter a lot of follow-up has been happening where we are jointly writing to the Honorable Law Minister, as also bringing out certain insurance policies to cover all our clients and our escorts while traveling all over India. As you are aware, you all are international NTOs. The international travel insurance was mandatory, but it was not so for Indian conditions. But under post-COVID situations, we will be looking forward to that now. The second session was a inter-stakeholders interaction, where right from Vaishno Devi Shrine Board to Ramoji Film City to Jalesh Cruises to the Tiger Resorts, a lot of 12 or 15 of the top stakeholders shared ideas as to what should be common policies for once the tourist season starts. And hopefully we are working towards a platform where about 800 destinations all over India will be sending information to us at one email address. And we at Maharashtra Tour Organizers Association and Travel Agents Association of Gujarat will be disseminating that information responsibly amongst our tour operator friends and members. The third one was a cross handshake between various associations like TAI, TAFI and FAITH, IATO, and we exchanged a lot of ideas as to where we can help them and where they could help us. This particular one is very aptly poised, notwithstanding the cyclonic conditions outside in Mumbai, but because this is a turning point in the post-COVID situation where a lot of international tourism boards are now saying that they're ready and they're opening doors, whereas Indian states are still gearing up. So it is very important that our tour operators and travel agents understand the international perspective. So the salient aspects and the getaway for today's engagements have primarily been that we would like to understand from our esteemed panelists how different regions and different countries are their passengers to ensure that it is seamless and hassle-free for everyone. When I say everyone, I'm saying that there is some amount of information which we pass on to the the tourists as they are moving, and that correct information being disseminated from our end to them is a valuable bit of information. It saves time and ensures that when they come to your destinations, they have a pleasant journey. Any misinformation, lack of information, or wrong information only leads to the tourist being inconvenienced, and therefore, unfortunately, sometimes the destination, which has probably laid down very meticulous SOPs or processes, but correct information is not given to the tourist, and then it leads to a little bit of rancor or a sad state during his travel. And keeping that in mind, this session would be important for us. At the end of the session, we will be intimating to you all that we are giving one key email ID, so you all can keep us posted of all the developments as and when they are happening, so that we will responsibly distribute it amongst our members. As always, there is a standard disclaimer. So most of our panelists, as I always say, they represent the apex institutions and they are the top authorities to speak on behalf of the institutions. Yet the pandemic situation is quite dynamic. A lot of notices and a lot of SOPs are being rewritten or redrafted periodically. And keeping that in mind, the session is more like a eagle's eye approach, not a bird's eye approach, an eagle's eye approach to understand the much bigger picture and handhold each other. So the views expressed in these webinars may change as notifications change, and those would be periodically got from our end to our members. So you can use our forum to disseminate your information correctly to all the members in Maharashtra and Gujarat. I'd like to just check if Poonam has joined us. I think she has. Has Poonam Singh joined us yet? Yeah, Poonam, we are ready for you, yeah?
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to log on.
Okay. Okay, so Poonam is joining us, and even as she is coming in, there is one disclaimer which I want to share with all our members who are logged in just now, that for the first time, because of the cyclonic conditions outside in Mumbai, we are mapping this presentation from 3 different places. The lights just have gone off at some parts of Mumbai, and the net connection is at an all-time low. So the video presentations which are going to happen may be in a little bit of a ad hoc deferred kind of method, and the panelists may please excuse us for that, to the extent that somewhere around 2 o'clock, few colleagues phoned me and said, Abhijit, do you want to defer the session also? But we said, no, it's a lot of our panelists have taken out their time, and our members are already, most of them are also ready for it. As always, the entire process is being recorded, so those members who can't attend will be sent the link so they can see it later on. So we are going ahead with this. Panelists may please bear with us for the videos as we run them in. We're just waiting for Poonam Singh to join us. She is logging in.
Hello?
Yeah, has Poonam joined in?
Yeah, Abhijit, I'm very much here.
Poonam, hi. So Poonam, I have taken the lead to explain the context of today's session, which I had shared with you. I've also read out the standard disclaimer. So the floor is all yours. Let me introduce Poonam to you. So while the introduction is not really required, but I want to say something very personal about Poonam before I um actually go to the official, that I have known Poonam for about 15, 20 years, and she has been one of my most helpful persons in the industry. Thanks to her, we got the correct leads in UK, which allowed us to do some stellar projects in UK. And she has been handholding me like a younger brother. Very rarely do heads of NTOs taken that much effort. And we did 100 years of Indian cinema, we did Mango Festival, we did a Marathi Film Awards function, all of them super successful thanks to Poonam. So for the benefit of my Maharashtra Tour Operators Association and the Travel Agents Association of Gujarat, I welcome you, Poonam. Poonam is obviously, as everyone knows, a big industry expert, experienced curator, chief communication officer at World Wedding Forum. She has been heading Britain and London tourism boards in India since 2004 till 2014. In the last 10 years, she has worked closely with over 70 tourism boards in India. And right now, she presents the annual trade event activities in an NTO calendar of events. So Poonam, without me taking too much of your time, let me hand it over to you. I will just reiterate one small disclaimer I gave for your benefit, that because of the cyclonic conditions outside, the net connection all over Mumbai is weak. So when the videos are playing, you'll have to just bear with us. Yeah. So Poonam, please take over. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Abhijit. Though I can't see you all, I can see Abhijit. And yes, I can see some of my other panelists. So hello, industry colleagues from Maharashtra and Gujarat. Namaste, namaskar, shabakher. A very warm welcome to all the MTOA members, the conveners, and esteemed panelists who are with us today. Our session is focusing on the positive news from the global tourism boards getting ready for welcoming tourists in the near future, which is very, very close and is extremely heartening news for India's travel agents and tour operators, given the pandemic conditions that we have been through in the last 3 months. We have reached out to some of the tourism boards who have opened up or who are in the process of opening up soon to chat with them and to get the lowdown from their destination perspective in what is frequently referred to as handling the new normal, and how their destinations are coping with this, their level of preparedness, etc. Today, we have with us 5 destinations. To begin with, we have Dubai, represented by Priyanka Nijhavan, Director, Dubai Tourism, the India Representative Office for the last 2.5 years, an industry stalwart and an integral part of the well-known Nijhavan Group. Hello, Priyanka, welcome. Next, we have with us Ms. Cholada Siddhivaran. I trust I've got the name correct. She is the Director for TAT office based out of Mumbai, handling the Western India and the Southern India responsibilities for Thailand and India. She's been with them from August 2018, and we look forward to hearing her perspectives on Thailand. After that, we have joining us all the way from Mauritius, Mr. Arvind. I don't know if he's there. I think I saw his name. Yeah. So Arvind is representing the Mauritius Tourism Promotion Authority. He's joined us from this beautiful island and will be giving us all the lowdown from their perspective on leisure, on film tourism, and on the wedding tourism. Finally, we have with us Ms. Komal Seth. She's the director at Lincoln Reps, who will be talking to us today on Sri Lanka as well as on Turkey. Komal is the representative for Sri Lanka Airlines, and also for Kingsbury, Amara, and the Asia Leisure Hotels, the brands from that lovely island. She is also the media and PR representative for the Turkey Tourism and Culture Council in India. Very warm welcome, Komal, and all the panelists. Right. I'm just going to talk very, very briefly about certain basic housekeeping norms. May I request everybody except for Abhijit, the panelists and myself to keep their audios on mute. The videos should be on, please. Yeah. Thank you so much. We're going to begin the session with Dubai tourism. So congratulations, Priyanka, 3rd of June, a very, very special day for Dubai because you've opened up today. So what do you have to share with us on this special day?
Yes, thank you very much, Poonam, and thank you, Abhijit and Rajan, for this opportunity. And thank you very much to all the friends from MTOA and TAG who have joined us this afternoon. I know the cyclone Nisarg is hitting Maharashtra, Gujarat, the entire belt, and most of you must be so worried, and so are we. So before I start, all our good wishes are with you. The times are already tough with Corona, and this is definitely not making it easier. But we all are here with the good news. The agenda for today is discussing the opening up of various destinations. And like Poonam just said, 3rd of June is very, very important because today a big part of Dubai, including Dubai malls and many tourist attractions, are opening up. And just before I was logging onto the webinar, I was talking to the head office, and they say that they are having a high-level head of regions meeting. And there is probably going to be another big announcement by the end of the day on how the opening up is looking like. Now, in terms of Dubai, of course, it is a destination which one understands, resonates completely with hygiene and safety. And in the last few months, when we have been in the first phase of the lockdown, where the focus has been just to keep the destination safe, secure, and sanitized and open up as soon as possible for our tourists, the focus has been on the sanitization. So I'm sure all our friends here and colleagues must have seen the extensive videos of the sanitization in Dubai with the drones flying around sanitizing each and every city from night to morning. I'm sure all of you have seen that already. And going forward, I think I'm going to let Poonam ask me more questions for me to go into the details of what all are you guys looking at me to answer this afternoon.
Super. Thank you so much, Priyanka. Why don't we kick this off with showing your destination film to begin with, and
Sure.
Then we'll have a chat later. So Abhijit and team, could we please have the Dubai tourism film? Abhijit, can you hear me?
Sorry, I lost you there. Yeah, Poonam, you were saying, sorry. I can hear you now.
I'm pleased.
Poonam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Abhijit.
Okay.
To be played.
Dubai, Darna, home. With open doors, we've welcomed you and shared countless journeys in this place where the future is just a moment away. But to meet the future, we need to pause, slow down, take a breath, stand still. And we ask the same of you. Be safe by staying at home, because our home will always be here, full of wonderful things for you to discover. And tomorrow, when you arrive, we promise to make it truly extraordinary, as this place, Darna, is full of endless possibilities. For now, though, we have to take a moment, but it will only be a moment.
Yeah, Poonam, you can take on. Poonam, are you there?
Poonam's audio.
Abhijit and everyone, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
now we
yes,
can
now
hear.
we can.
All right. Okay. So thank you, Abhijit, Priyanka, and the other panelists. Do bear with us because we are going to be circumvented by the techno gods today, thanks to the weather conditions. But yes, we have seen the films, and I'm sure that MTOA will be sharing these links with all the members subsequent to this webinar. Priyanka, what I would like to check with you is, to begin with, I think a lot of the Indian operators and the market is going to be very, very leisure focused. So people are wanting to get away, go to Dubai because the flights are likely to be opening up the quickest. The destination is already opened up, and they would like to go and take a break. So are there any special kind of itineraries or experiences from the leisure perspective for couples and for families traveling together that you would like to highlight?
Sure, thank you. So of course, this, for all of us, this is good news, and Dubai definitely is one of the closest short-haul cities to India. And like I said before, there is an incessant faith in the destination that all of us, even me as an Indian, we have in Dubai when it comes to hygiene and safety. Now, all the surveys that are being conducted right now, one of the top things that comes out is that the focus for any individual to decide a destination or a hotel is going to be the safety and hygiene, and which is something that Dubai definitely stands for. As far as the leisure and what Dubai has to offer, now, we always say that you haven't updated yourself about what's new in Dubai in about 15 days, you've already missed something. Because until the COVID times hit all of us in the travel industry by, since April, Dubai literally on every 15 days was coming up with something new. As the Dubai Tourism India Rep Office, we've had a very active effort to take people away from the basic trio, just from the basic Dow cruise, desert safari, city tour, to upgrade the itinerary to include a lot many new things. Now, things like Dubai frame, people are aware of, but things like when you have the Dubai fountain, which is near the Dubai Mall, now you can actually pay just about 30 dirhams and go boating in that. Now, those are those little things which are very, very cost effective and can be included in the itineraries. While most of our travel agents know about JBR, there are places also like La Mer, which are upgraded version. It's a beach, it's a walk road, it's free. So what I'm adding, especially for my friends and colleagues here, is these things don't make your itinerary cost heavy, but they just make them more also exciting. And of course, Maharashtra, Gujarat, these are the markets which they're the biggest markets for group movements, right? So when you have bigger groups, then adding these additional extra things to your itinerary definitely makes it more exciting. Of course, we also have the world famous Dubai Park, which is a 67,000-acre park. It has something to offer for each and every one. You could have a 12-year-old who wants to do very, very strong rides. They want to be very adventurous. And then you have somebody who's 65. She doesn't want to do the adventure rides, but only wants to do a simulation. So a simulation is when you're not really on the ride, and I'm just explaining it for the benefit of everybody. But you just, you know, it's like a 3D experience, and they've got the Bollywood parks. So Dubai, can offer something like that. You can go to the new Palm area. You can go to the Nakheel Palm. So on one side, we have the Burj Khalifa, which gives you the city view. On the other side, you could go to the Palm area and see the view. I mean, the view that all of us also associate with Dubai, the Happy New Year view of the big Palm area. So those are little additional things that can definitely be added. And of course, then there are more exciting things like skydive. Now, one of the safest places in the world to actually do a skydive is Dubai. And skydive again offers things like birthday packages. So if the birthday, if the birthday girl or boy wants to host a party and wants to be skydiving, there are special rates that are extended to them. And there are special gifts as well. I mean, this was something I wanted to do on my own 40th. But then I had a larger group and I had literally decided to back off. I didn't want 40 people working, trying to do skydive at the same time. But those are the kind of exciting things that Dubai can offer. And like I said, if you haven't updated yourself about what's new in Dubai in 15 days, they've definitely come up with something new in that meantime. You'll have to unmute, Poonam.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So I was agreeing with you, Priyanka, because in all these days, I think Dubai has been really busy doing webinar after webinar. And if people were seriously listening in the webinars, they would have picked up on these wealth of experiences. But to take on from what you said, if every 15 days you've got something new, then way to go.
Thank you.
Since a lot of people who go to Dubai also go from the perspective of shopping, it's one of the really hotspot shopping destinations in the world. You have all the malls, you have the gold souk, so it's not just leisure, it's people who are preparing for weddings, for Tuzo shopping. What kind of safety measures are being put into, especially the gold souk and the local markets? The malls I can understand, but in the markets and the souks, social distancing is not really as strict as normal. Is it something to do with sanitization, like you said, that they are sanitized in the night and therefore they are safe during the day?
Sure. So in Dubai, at this point of time, if you're outside, if you're outside your home, it is compulsory to wear a mask. And to the extent, if you're seen without a mask, there is a fine of 1,000 dirhams. There is some easing out which has happened just today. There is news coming, which came in just this morning, where you can be without a mask if you're in the car just with you're driving your own car, or you're in the car with your own family, or if you're outside in the park going for a run. But otherwise, wearing mask right now is compulsory if you're outside your house. In terms of social distancing, the social distancing will have to be maintained. A minimum of 2 meters of distance has to be maintained between two people at any point of time. Gold Souk has opened. It has opened almost, I think, 500 shops in the souk are open for now. But the government is going to be very, very strict about, about the social distancing, wearing the mask, having vending machines everywhere for sanitizers. And the malls, of course, even have vending machines for masks, as and where they are needed. And of course, the sanitization drives are going to be continuing very aggressively, like they are continuing now, because Dubai is aggressively looking at now opening up the tourism. The last Dubai government meeting that has actually happened at the airport. and with the popular Sheikh Hamadan actually sitting with boarding card printed in his name. So that's the kind of positive message that is being sent out for tourism to open in Dubai.
Thank you so much, Priyanka.
Thank you,
I
Poonam.
know that all the tour operators and travel agents will be wanting to know, is the destination able to share what would happen if a tourist fell sick in the destination? Would the tourist be looked after? How would he or she be covered? And would the travel agent who had sent him or her also get some sort of safety net? Do you have any information available on that as yet, or is it work in progress?
Because tourism still hasn't opened full-fledgedly, this information is still not out. So far, what we know is the flights that have started, there are transit flights that are allowed, and anyone who is coming into Dubai, and which is mostly the visa, the resident visa holders, they are still on the 14-day quarantine. So in terms of the visa on arrival stands cancelled as it did in the mid of March. So further updates on this front is definitely still we are still awaiting. But in terms of the spot testing that Emirates had started, and the information on that was actually shared with everybody, that is there. Also, in terms of the hotels, so all hotels do have marked quarantine area. So the hotels are supposed to have certain area designated or certain rooms designated just in case they have to accommodate somebody who comes into the hotel and is tested corona positive. But now once we open up for the tourists and how that is going to be handled, we are still awaiting the update. But I think it's Dubai, and I'm sure.
I'm sure you are going to be sharing that information with us.
Yes.
As soon as you have it. So Priyanka, for the information of our Gujarat and Maharashtra colleagues, who would be handling the West India market on behalf of Dubai Tourism?
So Mr. Sushant Bhandari, I think most of you all in Mumbai, in Maharashtra and Gujarat should know him very well. He actually also heads the account. He heads the account for Dubai Tourism for us in India under me. And I'm sure most of you should be knowing him already. And if you don't, I will still share his email ID with everybody.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Priyanka. We wish Dubai all the best, and we hope that the gods continue to shine, not just in Dubai, but on each and every destination.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Poonam.
Please stay with us while we go onwards. I'm going to now speak to Thailand. So, very welcome, Kunchalada. So happy to have you with us today. Please tell us. I must share with everybody over here that Thailand has actually opened their malls and their markets many days ago. So technically, if you look at it from the tourism and the open policy bit, Thailand has beat everyone to it for the present moment. Yeah? Am I right?
Thank you so much, Kakun Poonam. I am very glad and very honored to be here today. And yeah, it is a very good chance to talk to you. This is the first time we met, right?
Yes.
I feel like very warm to see you too. Thank you so much. And yes, like you said, we are already for open. We are on the third phase now. And I will share all the information with you. Let me share my screen. I can just share my screen, right?
Yeah, you can go ahead and share your screen, Shola. And you can thank MTOA for introducing you to Poonam.
Yes, and thank you MTOA and TAG for having me here. Is this right? Let me, okay. So can you see the screen?
Not as yet.
Yeah, now we are getting it.
Now it's beginning.
Okay, so, okay. So I have to do the, okay. So this is the information as of today, this morning. The total of infection case, we have 3,084. Just one case, one new case as of today in the state quarantine. Actually, from May onward, we have just only one digit all through the month. I mean the new cases, just only one day that we have 18, and mostly they are from Thai people who come back from international destinations, and they are all in the state quarantine. And this is about the visa update. So every session that I have attended, this is the most frequent asked question for Thailand. It is all about visa and visa on arrival. But like you all know, we are now temporarily suspended the visa on arrival facilities until 30th of September. Other than that, we have to just wait and see the policy from the government. And for that, we still have the foreigners within the countries, and we grant the automatic visa extension for all of them and take care of them while they are in our countries. And the VFS for Thailand is now just temporarily suspended also. This is the situation in Thailand as of now. The government of Thailand has extended the emergency decree for the second time for 1 more month. It will end by the end of this month. And although the number of infected has dropped into single digit, but we are still like on guard because we don't want to have the second wave, or we have to make sure that everyone in the country will be safe. And we also launched the Thai Chana application. Like in India, we have the Arokaya Setu, right? This is the same thing, just to track the people in Thailand. And every what should I say? Every shop, every property that you are going in, you have to check in with this application. And while you going out, you have to check out. And not all, but most of the business venues reopened with strict health and safety guidelines. The third phase we announced is on the 1st of June, sorry. So we are in the third phase now at Krabi Airport. So now we also allow domestic flight to happen, and at Krabi Airport especially, all the passengers have to go to the COVID test at the airport before they can go out of the airport to travel. If they have no positive, so they can go freely, and they have to pay their own cost on that. This is just only for protect everybody for the infection. I will go for all the details after this, because this is all about the certification that we launched. This is the current situation as of now, as you can see. And please don't worry, we will share this presentation with you. Restaurants, markets, community malls, exercise venues, hairdresser, clinic, even animal hospital, grooming parlors, golf course, diving range, shopping malls, community malls has already opened. And the malls, community malls, department store will open up to 9 p.m. every day. But we also have the safety and hygiene to follow, like restaurant has to maintain the social distancing. You may see on the video that just go viral that we have some of them allow just only one customer for a table. This is what we adapt into the new normal. Barbers, hairdressers, and pet grooming have to just close every 2 hours to clean, and they are not allowed to have the person waiting in the room. Domestic flights has resumed. Like I said, sports stadiums reopened with exercise or training only, not for the kind of full competition with audience. And theater cinemas also allow with maximum of 200 people in. Zoo also reopened. Yeah. Go on. This is the airline update. This is only for domestic. This is only for domestic flights. We have started since 1st of May. For the major airports, like you can see, Don Mueang, Suvarnabhumi in Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Samui, Surat Thani, Krabi. Hat Yai. Phuket is not yet opened because they have to just reconsider because the safety and hygiene of the people is the most top priority. And this is the airline that is operating as of now: Thai Air Asia, Thai Lion Air, Thai Vietjet, Nok Air, Bangkok Airways. We also still ban all incoming passengers for the flight to Thailand. It will be at the end of this month as well. I hope that we will have a good news after this. And about TG, it is a plan, but we have to just check and monitor the situation. This is the guideline while boarding the aircraft for domestic flight. At the airports, everybody have to just go for the temperature check, keep social distancing, wearing face mask, follow the advice. And on the plane, we will have some space between the seats, no food and beverage allowed to be served. A last seat row will be reserved for those who just show the symptom of any kind of symptom that may have. And all the cabin attendants has to wear mask, glove, even face shield or PPE dress. And every passenger need to wear their own mask. I'm sorry. This is the project that's been launched by Tourism Authority of Thailand with the hand with Ministry of Tourism and Sports, Ministry of Public Health, and Tourism Association and all the businesses concerned. We launched at Amazing Thailand Safety and Hygiene Administration, or in short, we call SHA. This is aimed to set a criteria for 10 categories of businesses in Thailand to just make sure that everybody traveling in the country is safe and the tourists, both international and domestic, will be happy with all the measures that we have. This is how it works. We have a body and set the criteria. All the properties that need to get the certifications, they have to follow strictly with the guidelines. We will have a committee to go and check, monitor. If everybody if one of them pass, we will give them the certificates. Like in the middle of the screen, you can see. And this is like a symbol of the safety and hygiene standard that's been given to the properties or the service owners. Because of this, the tourists will have confidence while traveling in Thailand and gain more experience because of the new normal that's applied in the country. This is the 10 categories of businesses that I have mentioned: restaurant and food outlets, hotel accommodations, convention centers, recreational activities, tourist attractions, tourist transport vehicle, travel agents and tour operator, of course, very important. Health and beauty parlors, department store and shopping centers. This is the heart of India, people, I know. Sports and stadium for tourism, theaters and cinemas, also souvenir shops and other stores. All of these categories can apply for the SHA certifications. And as of now, we have 9 malls get the certification already. In addition, Anantara Hotel also get the certifications. And as of now, we have to keep social distancing. So this is what we have done with our logo. We have redesigned the logo to promote social distancing to combat with the COVID-19. It is far apart physically, but mentally we are so close like always. And this is something that we have launched because we can't travel. Means Tourism Authority of Thailand head office launched the Thailand Tourism Virtual Market. It is the online platform, allows India partners and Thai partners to join on this platform. You can just place your criteria, means the details of your business, while Thailand partners also place their properties and the services that they have. You can do like you go and shop around what kind of property you need, what kind of rooms you need, how many rooms you need a month or a year, or the gap of the cost that you would like to pay. You can just go to this and we will share you this, because it is, I think it is really interesting, and it is the other options for you to do business these days. Yes, and this is all for me. This is the address. We have two offices, one in Mumbai taking care of the south and the west of India. The other one is in the north, Delhi office taking care of the north and the east. Any kind of information, just reach out to us. We are more than happy to just help you out. Thank you very much, Poonam.
Thank you so much, Kuntulada. I think that was covering just about every aspect that any tour operator or travel agent would have. But I have.
I'm just interrupting for a minute. If Chalada
Yes.
ma'am can please come out of the share screening, then I'll take over.
Okay.
Thank you, Poonam. Carry on, Poonam. Thank you.
Okay, so how can I? Okay, stop share.
All right, here we go. So Kunchalada, very, very quickly, Thailand is the #1 wedding destination globally. And you have been carrying that, very privileged status for many, many years. Can you tell us in the last 3 years, roughly on an annual basis, how many weddings you have done in Thailand, and what percentage would those weddings be? What number would be from India? Any rough idea that you have that you can share with us? Because a lot of our wedding planners are from Maharashtra and from Gujarat.
For wedding, I have to thank all of you very much, really from my heart, to just support Thailand all the times. And like you said, Kunpunam, we are enjoying the privilege for so long, but this year is very different. So roughly each year we have kind of 350 couples weddings in Thailand, and consider like they travel for 200 or 250 a group, and they spend 3-4 days in the country. So,
And any idea how many of them would be from India?
All of them from India. I mean, 350 couples are from India.
Wow! Wow! So we're not even talking about the global scenario.
For the global, I really don't have any number, but yeah, this is the number for, because as I am working here, we have kind of incentive for the wedding planners, and since I am here last year, I think I have more than 20 couples asking for incentive, and this year before the COVID spread out, we have already 14 couples. This is just only for Mumbai. We also have a lot in the north of India. Delhi office also taking that, and this is what we only know. There's still a lot of number that we don't know.
Absolutely. So I think I have to get in touch with you separately on this. Now, very quickly, I wanted to ask you about something which a lot of the travel agents and tour operators are beginning to concentrate on, which is school trips. So there are a lot of children who want to go for school trips, a lot of schools who want to send their children to short-haul destinations for school trips. What would you be able to suggest as an exciting 2-day or 3-day itinerary in Thailand if there was a school trip query for you?
I am now preparing that actually, because the school trip means the young generation, the kids, right? The teenager one. They also want to learn and experience new things. But it should not like too wild for them. We have to just keep them safe in every aspect. We have to just think about the safety first. I am now working on the itinerary. Actually, we have lots of activities to give them more experience, like weaving the palm leaf, or making Thai food, easy Thai food, or even just exchange experience between the schools. in Thailand. We also have many community-based tourism that they can enjoy. We also have that one rice field workshop, which is very normal, but it is very impressive if you hands on that experience.
Correct. So would you be able to put some of these experiences and itineraries together and share them with MTOA so that they could be disseminated to the agents
Yes,
also?
of course,
Yeah?
of course, of course.
And before I let you go, since Thailand is also a very exciting shopping destination, do share that lovely film that you have with us.
Of course. So I would like to share
Please.
with you how we
So
adapt in.
that was
Sorry, sorry.
so I said, please share that film with us. Get on to screen share. We're really
Yes,
very
please.
excited to see that.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Kunthalada.
Thank you very much, Kakamuna.
And please stay with us while we go on to the next destination.
Sure, sure, sure.
Um, I'm now going to go on to Sri Lanka. Komal, there you are. So before you get to speak, Komal, I'm going to share a small anecdote about Sri Lanka. This is at the very height of all the terrorist activity, and I'm talking about over a decade ago, probably 15 years ago. And I stopped off at Sri Lanka en route to London, both going and coming. There was a Thai Congress happening over there, and we were staying at a hotel which was a little outside of Colombo. I remember being stopped, our coach being stopped on 3 different occasions, and the commandos boarding the coach. And frankly, after Israel and after Kuwait, I've never seen such scary looking commandos.
I
But
know,
they
I know.
stepped in to all of us in impeccable English, apologized for the inconvenience, and assured us that they were checking us for our own safety and security. And they did this every time till we reached the hotel. So it was a lovely feeling that we got, that we're safe, we're secure, the government and the army is working for us. And now, from what I hear, Komal, you have been, as Sri Lanka, extremely proactive around and in the COVID time. So I'm going to let you share with us how you have tackled the COVID situation.
Poonam, thank you for narrating that episode because that is something that I've also closely watched in Sri Lanka. In fact, the Sri Lankan army and the intelligence is one of the few Asian countries which is actually trained under the Mossad, the Israeli Mossad intelligence group. And this is, I've done a lot of research on it because this is of my personal interest. I really like studying about army and intelligence, and it's such so telepathic that this is exactly what you said about Sri Lanka. Of course, we represent three destinations as a company, but Sri Lanka remains my first love, my baby. It's a baby island, our friendly neighbor, and an absolute island culture. So I think in terms of COVID and tourism being effective, it has been absolutely unfair on Sri Lanka because exactly 1 year back, we went through the bomb blast, the series of bomb blasts that happened um, through the country, through Colombo and outside. However, as an island, we came out of it in less than 60 days, and tourist arrivals had begun, and it was a happy time. So for now, Sri Lanka is really looking forward to start tourism, especially from India. India has been their #1 market. If I go back to the figures, I don't like to talk about COVID much, because that's something that we are talking about all the time. But of course, as travel agents, as professionals, we do need to know. So Sri Lanka total in all had 1,500 cases, if I may say so only. 785 have recovered, 745 are still under quarantine, and there have been again, if I only may say only 8 deaths. So we are pretty much in control. The government has absolutely taken over. Um, Luckily for some and not very lucky for few, Sri Lanka does not have a big mall and socializing culture, which is absolutely indoors. Sri Lanka thrives on old British and Dutch clubs, which means they do a lot of sports activities there. And also typically when we sell a Sri Lankan itinerary, if you have noticed and you've been to Sri Lanka, we sell a lot of outdoors, a lot of forests, treks, whitewater rafting, beach. So in terms of safety, in terms of sanitization, in terms of close proximity, we do not have that problem in terms of itineraries that we are selling because there are a lot of outdoor activities. On the 26th of May, last month, we officially opened for public. The hotels have opened. The domestic tourists, the local population has started going to the hotels. The bands are playing, the bars are flourishing, people are happy. And however, the curfew still remains till 4 o'clock. Between 4 to 7, it is restricted entry. But the situation as compared to other countries and is much safer, much calmer, much more happier. And I think also I must compliment the Sri Lankan people because, Sri Lanka as a country has fought the war for many years and then, they've dealt. So they know how to deal with the pandemic with much more effort and much more courage than, all of us. I remember the first 2 weeks for us in India were really palpitating and we were all absolutely inside the house afraid that what would happen next. But that wasn't the feeling in Sri Lanka. It's island culture, they're always happy.
Yeah, I can completely empathize with that. Let's look at something which is away from COVID. I am personally an outdoor fan myself, especially with regards to wildlife and religious tourism. And Sri Lanka has a huge number of experiences in that. So if you had to just tick off your fingers, what are the wildlife or the animal attractions that one can take in Sri Lanka? And similarly, the religious attractions that one can take in Sri Lanka, that would be lovely for the tour operators.
So, if I was a travel agent and a tour operator and I had my own company and I had a choice of creating an itinerary, I would create a definite itinerary to the Yala forest, the Yala park. They're mesmerizing. They're nothing like what we've seen before. It's a different terrain. It's a different forest. it's a different story that the trees and the whole wildlife tell us over there. So Yala is not to be missed. The Singria Rock, you know, for many Indians, we don't like to go to sightseeing or cultural places because we are very enamored by nightlife and shopping. But I think Singria is one, the Singria, of course, it's a World UNESCO site, is one must visit site. A, because of the whole flight of stairs that you have to climb. It's like a, you know, it's like a Tetris game that each stage that you climb, there's another one which is waiting ahead, but it actually invites you. And when you are on the top of the mountain, you know, you just feel that the world is seeing you, not that you are seeing the world. So it's really different. So Singra is really good, Yala is really good, and I would highly recommend people to do the white water rafting and surfing in Sri Lanka. The southern part of Sri Lanka, through and through, the whole stretch is very clean white water. And lately, we've seen the trend last year changing. A lot of Europeans would come with their surfing gear and with their surfing strip. Even in the flights, you would know that they've arrived. But we've recently seen that in Sri Lanka also. With Sri Lankan Airlines video, which we'll play, you know, once our interaction is over, you'll see even in the videos we are trying to promote a lot of water, a lot of sports, a lot of wildlife. You know, so yeah, so Yala, whitewater rafting and surfing, and the Singria Rock. And not to be missed, which I think most of the Indians are now obviously going, and most of the tour operators are selling that, Gaul. Gaul is like a cute little Dutch colony within 2 hours of Colombo. It has the oldest post office in the world. It has the oldest stamp station. It has the oldest banyan tree. The cops actually travel on a bicycle, you know, and and they have the oldest gelato and the printing press in Gaul. So obviously Gaul is really different. It's a day tour from Colombo. Ideally, I would recommend people to stay. We have the best hotels there. We have jet wings. We have hotels from Amaya, Atkins, so all in the vicinity. So we highly recommend people also to stay in Gaul or must not visit Gaul. Sri Lanka is way beyond Colombo and Bentota.
So I'm going to ask two more questions. One of them is going to be on my favorite topic, which is weddings. So Sri Lanka has picked up as an island for wedding and landmark events. And you yourself, I think, are representing certain properties which are welcoming this kind of business. But for 1 minute, if you were to move away from being Sri Lanka representative and you were a wedding planner instead, what kind of property would you recommend after taking a quick fam trip of Sri Lanka? When you get back, what would be top of the line recommendation for you vis-a-vis one or two properties from the wedding perspective?
Okay. So to
And
begin
you
with,
don't have to stick it on my own.
No, I won't. You know, I'm also representing Sri Lankan holidays. So to begin with, you know, my first wish and hope and pray is that only if Sri Lanka as a country could take 20% of the weddings that Thailand is doing, we'll be really happy. You know, I was actually noting the figures when Kun Cholada was mentioning the number of weddings they've been doing. So if you really ask me, the most ideal spot for a wedding destination in Sri Lanka is definitely southern Sri Lanka. A, because the number of hotels that have come up over there are of different categories, from 3-star to a 4-star and a 5-star. So when you do a wedding, you obviously need support system of 3 and 4-star hotels for transportation, for your different set of relatives. You know how Indian weddings happen. You can't have all the guests in one hotel, the boys' side in one hotel, the girls' side in another hotel. So the whole southern belt is very close to each other. Each hotel is only a distance of 1 kilometer and 2 kilometers. And Sri Lankan tourism, airline, and the hotels together, they actually run tuk-tuk drives between the two hotels if there are weddings. You know, so you actually have 4-5 tuk-tuks which are very well decorated and can transfer you from one hotel to the other. There are also bicycles which are given to couples who can, they are decorated with flowers and they have placards of the names of the wedding couple, and they can travel within the hotels to each other. The southern beaches are calm, and they support a wedding structure. And when I say that, what I mean is that you can actually have a wedding on the beach. Indians actually aspire and dream of having weddings by the beach where the water is flowing from the bag, there's wind blowing, and you're taking your vows. So that is typically possible in the southern part of Sri Lanka. And like I said, most of the big chains, whether Cinnamon, Atkins, Jetwing, Amaya, Asia Leisure, all of them have the hotels in the southern belt in some vicinity or the other. So I would not want to take one name because every pocket doesn't fit every size. So yes, the southern belt, if I would want to say that.
Thank you, Komal. That was a wonderful job walking the tightrope. And I think after this is over, we need to probably meet with Kunchalada and work out a code sharing where if she agrees to give us a certain number of weddings, we will agree to recompense them for what they are offering as an incentive. So maybe we can
Exactly.
discuss this. All
Yeah.
right. So my next question is, I know that Sri Lanka doesn't really go in for the big mall culture, but there are still a lot of stores which are very, very popular from the Indian perspective for shopping, which I think most of us know. But more than that, if I was to look at what are the local handicrafts or the local artisans, selling over there, I believe the carvings are excellent value for money, and some of the gems. What would you suggest if we had to pick up something which was a speciality of Sri Lanka? And I know there are many options over there.
So if you ask me, my top 5 picks would be definitely from if you're used to shopping in Europe and if you're used to shopping, in popular malls, Sri Lanka has the factory for Noritake, which is the world famous Japanese brand, and the factory for Noritake for the designer is based out of Sri Lanka. So every Indian who's traveled and who's aspiring to have that one piece of crockery which you take out on special occasion, it is Noritake, which a lot of Indians do buy mm, when they travel to Sri Lanka. And the Noritake factory is in Kandy. So you can have a visit to the Noritake factory in Kandy. Perhaps if you're not able to go there, we have 3 flagship stores of Noritake in Sri Lanka. So people do shop there a lot. That's number one. Number two, of course, are the gems. But, like in every country, you need to know which shop to go. You have authorized government referred gem agencies whom you can go and visit and buy the gems from. The gems start from as low as $20 and go up to a 2 lakh or $200,000. They actually know how to sell it to Indians because they know we are very astrologically inclined, so the moment they see an Indian, they know how to talk to us with a blue sapphire or a green emerald. But yeah, if you're a fan of it and if you know you need to buy it, then it has to be Sri Lanka than buying it at a higher price from anywhere in the world. Thirdly, this is not something that I recommend to buy, or I'm not talking about shopping, but earlier, late last year in 2019, in August, we opened One Golf Face, which is the first international mall of Colombo. It's actually opened on the strip of Sri Lanka where all the hotels, Kingsbury, Shangri-La, Taj are there. It's a world-class mall. We have the best restaurants from all over. Best Malaysian, Thai, Indian restaurants are based there. And all the not only the high street but also the luxury brands are present there. So it is a different Sri Lanka that you see, versus when you go earlier, you only see sightseeing and hotels, world-class hotels, but now you see that mall. And we also have the PVR Gold Class that opened in that mall. So Indian tourists also want to go there, experience the food, experience the whole charm, and just have an experience about the mall. The fourth thing that I would highly recommend people to buy from Sri Lanka is, of course, very close to my heart, and I'm a big fan because I'm I'm big time into naturopathy and organic food. The Sri Lankan tea. When you go to Kandy, you can actually take trails of Sri Lankan tea trails. You can see how the tea is made, what is the first press, what is the second press, and what is the third press, which actually we drink in India. And you can actually buy the tea, the most expensive white tea, which is the most expensive tea in the world, which actually from Sri Lanka is only imported to the US and to UAE, is made in Sri Lanka, and you can have the whole tour over there. It is actually a really good journey. I Usually we have Instagrammers who go there to the tea factory, whom we take, in terms of our media from hotels and airlines and the board. They usually tag that picture which says tea o'clock, because they're having 13 kinds of tea and they're tasting the difference, and they now know the difference of the different brew that you have. So a tea trail, and if you can't have a tea trail, few packets of tea leaves you must get from Sri Lanka. And lastly, if you have the capacity, if you have the bandwidth, if you have the ability, you must get the Sri Lankan pottery. It's beaten hard. It withstands long fire. And when you come in India, because a lot of Indians, when they go to Sri Lanka, they are often taking Sri Lankan food classes, cooking classes, because Sri Lankan food is very close to our southern Indian food. So Indians want to take the cooking classes. Once they take the cooking classes, they also want to buy the utensils. Like, they say what you cook in earthen pottery has a very different taste versus what you cook in aluminium or non-stick. So if you can, you should also get back the Sri Lankan pottery.
Thank you so much, Komal. I think we're all adding on to our shopping list. Now, can we quickly have that film? Are you going to show that to us yourself through screen share?
No,
or is Abhijit going to do
is going to show that. Abhijit will have to show. We'll show a short film on Sri Lankan Airlines, and this is a recent video that we launched for India.
Ayubowan world. Warmth is a word we live by.
Every day we greet you with a blessing of a long life.
Calling to you as neighbors do.
Come cherish a land as
bold in its attitude as you do.
To a place that mirrors the incredible diversity of where you're from. Contained within just 25,000 square miles.
Experience Sri Lanka first on board Sri Lankan Airlines.
Where you're truly our world.
Thank you once again, Komal. And I know you don't have a choice, but don't run away. We're going to be coming back to you for Turkey. So now I'm going to go on to Mauritius. And I hope that Arvind, are you there? Hello? Arvind, are you there with us? Abhijit, can you see Arvind?
I can see Arvind. Poonam,
Sorry.
Hi, Arvind bhai. Hi.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Namaste. How are you?
Namaste. Very well, Arvind. Would you please switch on your audio? We all want to see you. Audio and video and your video.
Okay.
Right, let me see if I can see you. Yes, we can. Yes. Thank you so much, Arvind. Warm welcome. And how is the pristine island today?
Much better.
Arvind, you have muted your. Just unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Yeah.
So
actually, I mean, it's been, we've just resumed as from 1st of June. Actually, the confinement went on very well, I would say. It was 72 days. It lapsed on Monday. But one thing about Mauritius is that actually we have been very bold in taking decisions here. I mean, we closed our borders, in January. I mean, we started with China, then we closed our borders with Italy, then Europe, then rest of the world, and Yes, tourism is at a standstill. Right now, what we are doing is we are repatriating all the Mauritians who are stranded abroad from India, from France, UK, and everywhere. So that, and then we started looking at resuming our activities in the tourism sector. The hotels and other operators have started operating a little bit with the local clientele. As you know, it's a small island, 1.4 million inhabitants. I mean, just relying on the local, local market won't help us. But what we foresee in the future, we're going to resume with the regional markets. I have in mind Reunion, I have in mind South Africa. Then it would be the direct flights from Europe. As you're aware, Mauritius is very Eurocentric, around 60% of the clientele comes from Europe. And then, but I personally think my gut feeling is that, you know, the markets will be normal as from 1st of November. That's what I personally foresee. But the situation is evolving so much every day that you can no longer predict also. And one thing about Mauritius is that
Arvind.
And one thing about Mauritius is that the sanitary measures that have been put in place have been recognized by the World Travel and Tourism Council. And this is a major plus point for us. Yeah.
So Arvind, what I'm going to share now is something that I think the entire travel and hospitality market is aware of. You know, people used to keep talking about fighting COVID. There is no question of fighting COVID. I think for almost the last 100 years, the virus or the bacteria doesn't go away. Once the vaccine comes in, we learn to coexist with it. So till the vaccine comes in and markets are on everywhere, the earliest that we can think of the vaccine coming in to the market in India at least is September, October 2020, if everything goes according to plan. Internationally, the same kind of dates are being talked about. Till that time, realization, going for social distancing. Now, I'm going to talk to you about three primary aspects. The first aspect I'm going to ask you, if you had a choice and somebody asked you, look, we're coming to Mauritius, how many days do we need to stay there to really experience Mauritius? What would your answer be? And what kind of experiences would you recommend for that leisure itinerary?
Okay.
Arvind, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's very important to distinguish among different markets.
Right.
For instance, the expectations of the Indian tourists is totally different from the European tourists. And those of the European tourists, totally different from the Chinese tourists. But from an Indian perspective, I would say, you know, the Indians are lovers of activities. I mean, they love the beach, they love sunsets, but the Indian clientele is a clientele that goes out every day, that will not book on all-inclusive. They will experience the island, and they would come and discover the island. As you know, there's a solid tie between India and Mauritius, and when you see the profile of the Indian tourists, it matches totally to these. That's one of the reasons, you know, all the activities right now in the country is at a standstill. right? You know, we are in June. This is our busiest period for the Indian market, and and this has really affected us in terms of tourism. But to answer your question, I would say all the activities, first of all, be it land activities, be it sea activities. You've got sports activities also. I'm thinking of, you know, all these sensational activities. Then you have a lot of culture also, cultural activities also. I would say, you know, the Indian tourists would like to experience 25% of the beach and sun, and it's 75% of activities.
Okay. And how many days would an ideal itinerary be for? 3 nights, 5 nights, 7 nights? What would you recommend?
I would say from a proper tourist perspective who wants to really discover the island, who wants to relax, I would say 6 nights, 7 days.
Okay, all right.
6 nights, 7 days would be perfect.
So we are, Arvind, we are also wanting to ask the tourism boards to leave the temperament of the market aside for 1 minute. I understand that Indians have a specific temperament and you try and gauge and sell accordingly. But as a tourism board, if you wanted to be aspirational and you wanted to market an ideal itinerary, what would you suggest for the leisure market?
For the leisure market, first of all, you know, I would market Mauritius as a beyond beach destination. I won't occult the fact that you have beautiful, pristine beaches, as you mentioned, but you know, you've got much more than that in Mauritius. First of all, it's a melting pot of culture, of religion, of tradition, of gastronomy. This is a huge selling point.
Yes.
Secondly, there is the security aspect of the destination. Mauritius is very safe. Now I would say, I can say that Mauritius is sanitarily safe. And then there's something about Mauritius that we shouldn't occult, is the essence of Mauritius. The essence of Mauritius is the population. We are known for having this legendary service. We don't have any language barrier. The Mauritian on the street speaks a minimum of 3 languages. And I would say these are, and on top of that, you've got Mauritius is definitely a Carrefour in the region, be it for weddings, be it for MICE, be it for the normal FITs also. I mean, Mauritius can appeal to all the segments of the tourism industry, rather.
Lovely. Thanks again for that, Arvind. You know, we have to wait, I think, for a few months, maybe till 2021, for the MICE market to really pick up. But till then, the weddings market is very much on, and weddings, Indian weddings have started. The queries and the bookings have already started from late October, November of 2020. So tell me, beach weddings, I know you have plenty of beaches over there, but apart from the beach weddings, are there certain venues, certain, USPs that you can talk about completely from the perspective of landmark events and weddings that you would like to share with us?
No, actually the wedding market is quite well established in Mauritius because you have all types of accommodations, I would say. Mauritius has been quite proactive in terms of weddings on the Indian market. I mean, We have put a series of measures and incentives that have really promoted this niche segment. And for the last year, I would say for the last 2 years, I mean, we've seen an increase in number of weddings. But point is, actually last year wasn't great, but this year was going to be extremely great. We had around like 7 weddings, which were confirmed. But the main problem with weddings in Mauritius is that, you know, our rate 250 rooms. And normally, you know, when we have requests for big weddings, that's where the problem lies. I mean, mostly these weddings, a wedding in one hotel, right? Whereas, you know, when you have a request for 250 or more rooms, then we have to book few hotels together and to have one party at one property. This becomes a difficult. But you've got a lot of options also. I mean, you could get married on a luxury yacht. You can use a small private island, like for instance, Îlot de Coco, to get married. You can have a Creole style wedding in one of these colonial houses. And no, you've got huge loads of choices. You could get married, you know, in eco lodges also. I mean, and all these areas are available.
Fabulous.
But
So
point is, I also believe that wedding also will take some time to
you may just
recover.
be surprised, Arvind, on that. Let's talk privately on what the opportunities over there are. So, folks, from my wedding planner perspective, I do know that we have had Fort Adelaide, you know, mentioned, some of your French chateaus mentioned over there as really beautiful backgrounds. And the fact that even the catering is something that you are very, very, you know, open about. You can carry the Indian chefs over there and they're made very welcome. So food and weddings together, excellent option. Arvind, we will talk personally about that. Let me give you some good news on that later on. Now I'm going to talk to you about something which is very, very pertinent only to Mauritius, and that is film tourism. I do know that a huge number of films have been shot in Dubai and some also in Thailand, but Mauritius has always been amongst the top destinations from the film tourism perspective. Would you like to share with us what kind of USPs that you have for this segment? Is there an MOU in place over here? What can you highlight for that particular segment?
Actually, Mauritius has had a long relationship with Hindi movies. Huh?
Right.
And I think it started in the year 80s when the first movie Southern was shot. And along with the Economic Development Board and the Mauritius Film Development Corporation, there is a lot of the rebate scheme is on.
Okay.
And all these three organizations have been working in synergy together so that, you know, to make things happen very smoothly and so that people benefit from the rebates actually.
Okay. Okay.
And recently we've had a lot of interest from Indian producers who want to, for filming the different attributes of the destination. And one thing about Mauritius is that, you know, there is this capacity of doing business easily. The ease of doing business should be highlighted. I think that's one of the USP in Mauritius, and this can be further developed actually.
Okay, got that. And that would be valid not just for shooting regular films, but also for shooting ad films or regional films, you know. Everything
Absolutely. I mean, Yeah, it's open to all film productions actually.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I do know that Abhijit himself personally has always spoken very, very highly on Mauritius'
Yeah,
capacity and capability on this particular
I,
segment.
I also forgot to mention that we hosted last year, actually, oh, this year actually. This year, beginning of this year, several production houses for an
Okay.
educational tour in Mauritius so that
Okay.
they could discover the different attributes of the destination and all.
All right. That's fabulous. Thank you so much. Can
Welcome,
we, before
pleasure.
we, request you to join your film, please? Are you going to share screen with us, or is Abhijit going to do so?
Abhishek will do that. Here he
All right.
does.
Thank you.
Cheers, bye-bye.
Thank you, Mauritius and Arvind. May I request Komal and Turkey to come on?
Hi, Poonam, I'm here.
Komal, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
All right. So, yes, I can hear you. And I just want to share something with you, Komal. We are running a little late. So, we'll have to kind of be a speed dating session with us. Yeah. So let's talk about Turkey and the level of preparedness that you have. Just run that for us very quickly. What is Turkey handling as in the now? I know that sanitization has been absolutely brilliant. Is there something else that you would like to highlight?
Poonam, we have mandates from the ministry not to talk about anything related to COVID, but the only good I would want to share is that Turkey is no more amongst the top 10 countries which were actually infected with corona, COVID-19. So we until May we were amongst the top 10, but that's not the case. So it's a very good news, and our numbers have drastically gone down. Offices have started in Turkey, and people have resumed normal, regular life, but nothing beyond this in terms of arrivals or flights that we are allowed to speak out right now, because ministry would first like to test their waters deep and then only announce anything further for in terms of tourist arrivals.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, Komal, is because I know that a lot of people will be leaving, and we can always get through to you for the regular questions at a later stage. But I want to mention over here for the Maharashtra and the Gujarat travel agents and tour operators that Turkey is a mix of both the East and the West cultures. And it's a very, very highly desirable market, not just for leisure, but also for MICE, which we'll keep for 2021. for 2020, we're talking about weddings. So Komal, very quickly, go beyond Istanbul and tell me what you would really suggest to the wedding planners as beyond Istanbul destinations for landmark events and weddings.
So, we were lucky last year to bag one of the top. Poonam, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, we are there. We are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
so we were lucky last year to, So we were lucky last year to actually bag the top 3 high-profile weddings from India and Turkey. So obviously, as a destination, Turkey has learned even better than before how to handle weddings, the larger-than-life Indian weddings. If we go beyond Istanbul, people are really looking forward to having their wedding vows, the wedding functions in Antalya. Typically Antalya, because of Antalya is it's a destination which offers all inclusive and which is best suited for weddings. Antalya is a beach strip also on the in the inland, but the beach weddings in Antalya do very well. Like I said, we are Eurasia. They understand the Asian culture, but there's a lot of finesse of the Europe that the wedding offers, and that is what makes a wow factor for Indians. So Antalya and Cappadocia are very, very popular beyond Istanbul for weddings and celebrations, first anniversary, 40th birthday. So it's big, it's gaining momentum, and I must give credit to our DMCs. We have specialized DMCs who only cater to big fat Indian weddings and celebrations events. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, and Turkey has been very, very active. I mean, you mentioned DMCs, and out of those who are over here, they would all know that somebody like Murtaza Calendar, for example, is virtually every second or third day doing something on Turkey. Sometimes I actually ask him, I said, I hope the tourism board is rewarding you for all of this. So excellent, way to go.
We don't know whether Murtaza is popular because of Turkey or Turkey is popular because of Murtaza. So of course, thank you to him.
Because of Murtaza. Yes. Very, very
exactly.
To him. The other thing I wanted to check, and I know that you don't have much time, but I have to ask you this question, Komal, because I think you're the youngest amongst all of us, and therefore you can dare to dream and go a little beyond the standard SOP, so as to speak. If as a tourism board you were given a mandate to think out of the box and prepare just 1 or 2 itineraries, something completely new, what would you like to introduce, for Turkey and in the India market? Doesn't matter if it's not being, sold right now, but what would you like to introduce?
So I'll answer for Turkey first. Turkey, I think we actually started this year, but we had a break, but doesn't matter. Media is very strong. They revive, thoughts really soon. So we have a region called the Gaziantep Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe was actually the first temple of the world, which people don't know about it. It is in Turkey, and you can actually go and visit that site. But of course, for anyone, I'm not only Indians, but for anyone, food is a very big factor. So Gaziantep is actually the gastronomy capital of the world. You get the best kebabs and savory of the world in Gaziantep, and we took our media there. We've also taken some few agents there, and it was I think the two best 2 nights of their lives, which actually happened in Turkey. So when you actually go only for a gastronomy tour and a food tour, it's a different high, and you're living a different dream. So I think for Turkey, Gaziantep and Göbekli Tepe are a must, and travel agents must popularize this destination, and media must write about it. Yeah.
And is there something out of the box. We all talk about tourism during the day. From the tourism
Okay.
perspective, can you suggest if there's something to do in the night?
In Turkey or in Gaziantep?
In Turkey.
So Turkey, in the night, of course, there is a very popular nightlife in Turkey, but also the Bosphorus tour on the boat under the stars is very popular. A lot of people have done their proposals over there. Um, Even business signing off meetings happen on the boat, on the ship, because you actually see right side is Europe and left side is Asia, and I think a lot of countries have to create such an environment, but Turkey naturally has that.
Correct.
So it is very pretty, and it is not expensive. So people in their regular tours can take a whole experience of this Bosphorus boat tour. It's not to be missed in Istanbul.
All right. And what would you recommend as the ideal duration if really needed to experience most of what Turkey has to offer? Would it be 5 nights or 7 nights or 10 nights?
I think minimum 7 nights you need for Turkey, because you have Cappadocia, you have Antalya, and you have Istanbul, and all three have something very, very different to each other to offer. So Turkey cannot be done justice in less than 6 to 7 nights.
All right, got that going up there. Now tell me, would the Turkey Tourism Board of the Turkey Council be looking in the future at physical fam trips or virtual fam trips? Because quite a few destination boards are talking about the virtual aspect.
Poonam, we've got proposals. We've seen people doing a lot of virtual tours, but I think our board hasn't paid much attention to this, because we have, we are very positive the situation is going to become soon. And as a tourism board, as India Media and PR rep, we have continued to do the work that was our as our regular calendar. Of course, the PAMs have been delayed, advertising has been delayed, but we are going as per what we had to. And we strongly and truly believe that we won't have to do a virtual tour. We will honor physical fam tours for agents to experience the destination in order for them to sell it very well.
I think that's excellent news, Komal. I'm just getting various heads up. So I'm going to cut it short over here. We're going to see your film before we sign you off.
And I have to answer the question for India.
All the questions, sorry,
the destination that should be sold in India.
Yes,
I think that should be the Hornbill Festival, which happens in Sikkim. It is, I think, the most underestimated festival we could ever market. I had the honor of visiting through Sikkim Tourism last year, and it was absolutely brilliant. So I think that is something which we as Incredible India should definitely sell.
And I think we need to do a separate webinar on what is aspirational from the Indian side. So very quickly, thanks a ton, Komal. Show us your film before you sign out, and then just stay with us, please.
Okay.
Abhijit, could we have the Turkey film, or is Komal going to?
No, Abhijit is going to.
So Turkey was, wow, yes.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. I've just got a quick message from Priyanka. Priyanka, are you there? You wanted to share something with us? Priyanka?
Thank you, Poonam. And I think interacting with the other destinations has been lovely. And I know we're really running short of time. Just a very quick update. While we have been on the webinar, I have received fresh information from Dubai. which is fairly in line with what I have updated you all already. So there are details of exactly, how many cases on the 20 lakh cases that were tested, people who have been tested until 27th of, on the 27th of May. And we only have, 31,000 cases that tested positive, literally no deaths. And the SOPs, hotel details, airlines. So the whole document we have received as I've been on the webinar, and I'm going to send it out to Abhijit immediately after this. And Abhijit, please be kind enough to share it with everybody on the, to the MTOA and tag colleagues. Thank you, and thanks, Poonam.
So Poonam, I'm just interrupting here for a quick note. So we will have got some of the questions, but for paucity of time, we'll skip the question answer session, and we will be emailing all the panelists the questions. And probably, when you run through your vote of thanks, I could probably before that just invite, since Priyanka and all also have time bound, I'll ask one or two of our stalwarts to say a few words. So we have our President Prabhu Bhai with us, President of the Maharashtra Tour Organizers Association. We have Sudhir Patil of Vina World, one of the bigger brands of travel companies. So I'll probably ask them to just say a few words so that they could sum up what the ethos is. Sudhir, are you there?
Yeah, Abhijit, good evening.
Sudhir, Prabhu Bhai, aap hai? Sudhir, namaskar. Hi. So Sudhir, two words from you.
Yeah. Really appreciated this presentation. A great one. Thank you for coming to MTOA and Gujarat Tour Operators Association's platform. We all are tour operators, and the information given by you for Mauritius, Turkey, Dubai, all very in Thailand, very informative, and a lot of positive things are happening. Right now, I'm attending virtual ATM and talking to many suppliers and tour operators and service providers all over the world. And last 2 days, and today is also there, around maybe 30 appointments I did till today. And people are very optimistic are there. And most of the countries, people are expecting to open by 15 July and 15 July for domestic, and then maybe a couple of months they will open and receive international. So that's a good ray of hope, and good things are there. But I'm very happy that today's presentation was very good for each and every tour operator to sell the destination. And
thank
that's
you, Poonam.
A good spirit. Really.
Thank you, Sudhir.
So
thank you.
Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you so much. And we are very glad to know that you are actively meeting people on the virtual ATM as well.
Yes.
And I also have Prabhu Bhai, our president, who is with us. So I'll request Prabhu Bhai to say a few words. Prabhu Bhai?
नमस्ते। आज आप लोग सब वेबिनार में आके गुजरात टूरिज्म और हमारा महाराष्ट्र एमटीओ टूरिज्म का बहुत अच्छा मान बढ़ाया, और हमेशा ही मनो चिलोड़ा और पूनम जी, कोमल जी ने तो आज हम लोग को जो बताया कि 45 साल पहले जैसे श्रीलंका हम लोग चलते थे, आज वापस श्रीलंका चालू करें तो बहुत अच्छी बात है कि श्रीलंका भी बहुत अच्छा है। और जैसे
जरूर चालू कीजिए।
हमारा थाईलैंड तो चल रहा है, लेकिन थाईलैंड के पहले भी हमारा श्रीलंका इतना अच्छा चलता था कि मानने जैसा है। तो उस समय जैसे हम लोग एक चाय जो पिलाते थे नूरेलिया में, चाय के साथ में गुड़ की जो डेली देते थे और विदाउट शुगर की चाय, तो
अभी भी देते हैं। सेम, इट इज द सेम सर। अब आप आइए, हम आपको फिर देंगे।
जरूर जरूर, तो बहुत अच्छी बात है। और हमारे सभी हमारे को जो भी आप लोग रिपोर्ट देते रहेंगे, हमारे सभी एजेंटों को हम लोग पास ऑन करते रहेंगे। और आपसे सब लोग से बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया कि हम लोग हमेशा साथ में काम करेंगे और मिल बांट के काम। Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So, Poonam, we have Rajan who will give a vote of thanks, but you can just sum up the session. Poonam?
Yes, I'm there. Prabhu Bhai, Sudhir and everybody else. मैं आपको एक चीज बताना चाहती हूँ। डेस्टिनेशन टूरिज्म बोर्ड्स के बिहाफ पर, क्योंकि मैं खुद एक डेस्टिनेशन प्रमोशन बोर्ड रही हूँ। जो MTOs होते हैं, उनका जो अस्तित्व होता है वो मार्केटिंग का अस्तित्व होता है, सेलिंग का अस्तित्व टूर ऑपरेटर्स और ट्रैवल एजेंट्स का होता है। आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है क्योंकि आप कनेक्शन है हमारे लिए और एनटीओज और पब्लिक के बीच में। तो आपको अपना जो कैनवस है उसको बढ़ाना है, आपको एनटीओज के साथ काम करके उनकी आइडियाज लेने हैं, अपनी आइटिनरीज को बढ़ाना है, क्योंकि जब तक आप वो नहीं करेंगे एक्सपीरियंस नहीं बढ़ेगा और एट द ग्राउंड लेवल आपकी अर्निंग नहीं बढ़ेगी। सो प्लीज help us to help you in that. And for the rest of it, thank you all very much for giving us, the tourism boards and myself, this opportunity.
Poonamji, I can give the promise on behalf of all tour operators, what are the destination you briefed today, these are the destinations, the first one to start it. And we will start that first destinations like Sri Lanka, Mauritius, Dubai, and Thailand. So even Turkey will also start very soon. So all these destinations are the first destination to start with.
Correct. We actually took the first concentric circle because with Dubai, Mauritius, Thailand, these are the first level of concentric circles. Rajan, our treasurer, will be giving the vote of thanks. Before that, I'll just share two small points to all my members also. The survey we did about a month back, the survey report has just come out and we will be emailing it to everyone. We will also forward it to our esteemed panelists. This was a survey done amongst the about 220 Maharashtra and Gujarat tour operators. They contributed what is their post-COVID apprehensions and what they would like tourism boards to assist them in. So it could give you some line of thought as to what we are thinking about. And yes, the most important part, we will be flashing one email address to all of you, and we will request you, whether it is periodical, whether it is daily, do keep sending us all your info onto that email address, and we assure you that we will responsibly disseminate it amongst all our members in Maharashtra and Gujarat. So just to sum it up, I'll request Rajan Bhai to give the vote of thanks.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ms. Poonam, for moderating this session. Your expertise allowed all panelists to get out so many experts for post-COVID travel without much overlap. I also thank Ms. Priyanka from Dubai Tourism, Ms. Cholada from Thailand Tourism, Mr. Arvind from Mauritius Tourism, Ms. Komal representing Sri Lanka and Turkey. We will seek your help in forwarding us correct information regularly to distribute our members. Thanks to all our MTOA and TAG members for attending in spite lot of nature hurdles. Lastly, my special thanks to our convener of our series, Mr. Abhijit Patil. See you all next Wednesday with new topic. Till then, stay safe, work safe from wherever you are comfortable as you are the whole world to your families. Yeah, thank you very much.
And for today, I deserve a thank because 1 hour before we were told that our host lights went out in that entire area. So suddenly me and Rajan to mirror the presentations and in 2.5 months, the net connectivity has been brilliant. Today it was 30%. So I was keeping my fingers crossed that my laptop doesn't crash in the middle. So thank you everybody. Thank you Priyanka, thank you Poonam, thank you Komal, thank you Cholada, and we will send the email out to you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And Jai Hind.
Stay safe. Thank you. Bye.
Stay safe, stay safe.